White sandy beaches, clear waters, and plenty of sunshine. The Swedish island of Gotland is affectionately called the Pearl of the Baltic Sea, but this Baltic paradise is under threat from its large neighbor to the east.
People in Gotland have always been a little bit afraid to Russia.
Sweden is on the alert due to huge oil tankers that have been moving along Gotland's coast. They come from St. Petersburg, bound for India or China. They're called shadow ships because Russia uses them to bypass the Western sanctions imposed after Russia invaded Ukraine. Solveig Atzman was a politician on Gotland for many years, and she isn't only worried about a possible shipwreck.
I think there are more ships from Russia than we know. Shadow boats, it's not good at all. We must think of the environment and the sea, and oil in the sea is so dangerous.
Swedish security experts believe that Putin is using this shadow fleet to conduct oil trades to bolster his war chest, transporting oil to countries that aren't adhering to the sanctions. A recent study estimates that between 600 and 2,000 tankers are currently in operation. Some of them leased, many dilapidated. Experts have called it a ticking time bomb.
Shadow tankers, they are old. They are registered in countries with much less control and lower standards. The crew is usually less qualified, and the ownership is obscure, and they lack credible insurance. So the risk for an oil spill, an accident, is much higher with this shadow fleet.
Around 80% of Russian crude oil is supposedly being transported across the Baltic Sea, directly past the Swedish island of Gotland, which has a key strategic position for both the West and Russia. The Russian exclave of Kaliningrad is just under 300 kilometers from Gotland. Russia has also shored up its economic influence in Gotland, with Putin's state company Gazprom most recently renting a part of the industrial port of Sliter to store pipes for the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline.
I think those who were very much liked that Nord Stream was coming here, they don't talk about it, I think. I think they feel ashamed because they were so stupid and naive and greedy.
Solveig Atzman spent years on Gotland's municipal council fighting against the gas project and thus Russian influence. She says the entire Russian infrastructure on the Swedish island is now a problem, such as the extra long quay for the pipes.
You build that thing in the water, you must have, what do you say, maps of the harbor. And the bottom, and so they know everything here. If you have Slite, you have Gotland. If you have Gotland, you have Sweden.
Sweden joined NATO just a few months ago, so now if Russia were to attack the Baltic states, all members of the alliance would be obliged to defend them. The island of Gotland could play an important role in fending off a potential Russian attack, according to military experts in Stockholm.
I guess Gotland and the Baltic Sea offers more opportunities for NATO in a way that it gives some added, perhaps, strategic depth. One option would, of course, be to use the choke point for Russian transports to and through the Baltic Sea to Russia and St. Petersburg. And a choke point would mean that in the worst case scenario, the West could seal off those kind of transports, making it more difficult for Russia to, well, exchange goods and transport other things like troops.
The open passage is currently important for Russia's shadow ships, but Sweden has begun taking the Gotland situation seriously, as these images from a NATO military exercise a few weeks ago show. Soon, up to 4,500 Swedish soldiers are to be stationed here.
We must defend ourselves, and we can't be so naive anymore. It's necessary. If we will have the paradise, we must have the military.
A militarized paradise? Not an easy situation for Gotland's residents, who hold on to hope that a real intervention will not be needed.